Yes, everybody, it is Friday. Another week has been done. Congratulations. Obviously, West Ham can ruin it tomorrow when we play Brentford at the G-Tech. Make sure you keep an eye on the channel. Obviously, we have all the build-up, starting 11 show, the watch-along, the review show, that type of thing. But it's Hammer's Headlines Sensation with the KUMB.com boys. Today, already this morning, I spoke about a link with Yuri Alberto. Apparently, us looking maybe to come back in for him in January. Then we had the their club call, Hammers Club will have your say, which was, as always, quite enlightening. Particularly, discussions were around whether how long someone would give Lopetegui left. How long has he got left? Interesting comments. But we've got some stories to talk about as per usual. So let's crack into it. Let's start with some rumours. We love, it breaks the monotony of losing and conceding loads of goals to top six clubs. But apparently West Ham, amongst a host of other sides, including Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Man United and Chelsea, are keen on Hoffenheim striker Max Murstead. That'll do. According to TBR, the news outlet reported that the Hammers, amongst the others, have been watching the 18-year-old German striker over the last 12 months, and signing someone who's obviously 18 is, one for the future, a prospect, a significant challenge for West Ham, given the financial clout of competing clubs. Although we'll talk about that. Maybe we're slightly rosy and we think we are. Obviously the likes of Man United could probably offer far more substantial financial packages. But maybe West Ham could have the upper hand, given the competitive landscape. Hammers may be able to offer the promise of more consistent playing time, potentially. A clear pathway to the first team and pitch what they can do to help him develop into a quality senior player. The fact is there's an urgency, it seems, with West Ham to start negotiations. And so that's quite interesting. Early talks could potentially swoop in there nice and early. That's what Tim likes to do. He likes to get in there early and meet him at the pass, like with the signings of Kudus, for example. Now, obviously, we could have a slight ace up our hands in the Fulk, who we'll talk about again in a minute. Being obviously a German international striker, he could learn from him, yada, yada, yada. So we should see. It might be the case, we sign him and loan him back for 18 months to continue his development. That's something which obviously the bigger clubs tend to buy players and send them back to the club they bought them for, just so they've got dibs on them and they can improve and continue their progress. But again, interesting to see we're being linked with younger players as well, in terms of ones for the future. And obviously with the likes of question marks over, the long-term future of Danny Ings and Mikel Antonio, it's good to see that we're looking at the next generation. Obviously, the next generation, in terms of the under-21s, are playing tonight at Rush Green. They're playing Chelsea under-21s. I'm on the L1s and 2s. If you can get along, please do. It's a great night. It's probably going to piss down, but it's just bring an umbrella. It's proper football. Now, talking about money. A slight, an interesting development, really, in terms of the Premier League table, in terms of the ownership, in terms of the wealth of owners. We'll be mixing up in Europe's top 20 when it comes to income, since obviously the move to the London Stadium. But ownership of Premier League clubs, more often than not, don't directly correlate with where a club ends up in standings. The likes of Man City, for example, aren't the richest owners, when Newcastle are the richest owners by some way. But it's important to say, without rich owners, remaining competitive in the Premier League is a really tough task. And so what's astonishing is a new development that will probably shock many fans across West Ham, because West Ham have apparently leapfrogged Aston Villa and Man City as the Premier League's third richest club. Heading into new season, Newcastle were by far the richest owners, with their owners boasting a net worth of £478 billion. No other club on the planet even comes close to that eye-watering figure. Heading into the new season, Aston Villa were third, with West Edens and Nazif Suarez having a net worth of £13.8 billion. Man City were fourth with the net worth of the Abu Dhabi United Group and Silver Lake at 12.9 million. And West Ham were down in eighth with a net worth of just under 8 billion. But that has all changed, partly because of this man, Danny Kudrinski. He has he's among the richest owners in the Premier League in terms of net wealth. He's jumped a massive 14 places in this year's Sunday Times Rich List, and his wealth continues to grow. He's actually, I believe, the richest man in the Czech Republic now. His net worth has doubled since in recent times, and West Ham, because of that, have leaped up above Man City and Aston Villa into third place with a net worth of £14 billion. As I said, he's one of the richest men the richest man in the Czech Republic, one of the richest in all of Europe, coupled with David Sullivan's net worth of £1.2 billion, plus a cumulative wealth of the other stakeholders, such as the Gold family, Trip Smith. It takes us over to the £14 billion mark, above champions Man City and Champions League Aston Villa. The only clubs with richer owners than West Ham are Newcastle and Man United, who Sir Jim Ratcliffe obviously has become co-owner alongside the Glaziers at £19.2 billion. So we're third. We have the third richest owners in the Premier League now. Mental. But we've also topped the league in the Arrests League. We've topped the league for England and Wales last season. A total of 103 West Ham Hammers fans were arrested with football-related offences between 23-24 season, according to the latest figures from the Home Office. Over half of these arrests were for public disorder. 24 were the possession of Class A drugs. Man City and Man United were joint second in the league. And I mean, in comparison, it does seem 103 Hammers were, arrested during that season, but the relative number of arrests is on the rise, but still relatively few when you compare attendances. It's roughly about 5.5 arrests for every 100,000 people attending football matches last year. So it's less than 0.2%, something like that. Probably less than that, 0.02 or something. I can't do the maths anymore. My brain's gone too much. But it's less than 0.25%, less than 0.1% have been arrested. But West Ham still top the league. Top of the league, you're having a laugh. And finally, let's talk about the Fulk. Someone who his absence and mystery of his absence is somewhat of is a mystery. We don't know. We was told that he was training ahead of the Liverpool game. Nothing wasn't on the squad match day squad at all. Yesterday, I'm positive, listening back to it, that Lopetegui said that he was out in his sort of Spanglish, really. And there's been sort of a question mark about, the injury and the recovery time. He's 50-50 apparently on the Premier League injuries. But according to reports last night, it gave an update of where Fulk, when we could be likely to see him back in the starting lineup. The reports talk about Fulk edging closer to complete contention for the Hammers after spending some time out with a tweak to his Achilles heel. And it's believed that the former Dortmund star won't start until after the international break. But they will be hoping he could be included on the bench soon. So the likelihood is he's not going to have a starting berth probably until the Tottenham game. But there have been good signs at the club's training ground as he's now building up well towards first team action, apparently. So, the likelihood is he's likely to not feature or not start or in the next two games at least. And then hopefully he'll appear fresh, fit and raring to go for the Tottenham game after the international break, away to Tottenham. And obviously then we play away to at home to Man United the game after. So it could be a welcomed inclusion, just to give us something different, I think, as well. I think we spoke about, obviously, Antonio. I thought Antonio had a really good cameo against Liverpool, but that's how he should be utilised as a cameo. He shouldn't be starting, in my opinion. I think from a fitness perspective, he's most effective in short bursts, Antonio. He came on with 25 minutes to go for that Liverpool game and looked really good, really sharp, and that's great. And you're against tired defenders as well. He could bulldozer over them, and maybe something like having someone like the Fulk to start off with, more of a out of the box striker, potentially out of the box forward, sort of soften them up, and then Antonio comes on to knock them out. I like that. But it looks like that's not going to happen for the next couple of weeks at all. Could completely change, and he might start tomorrow, but I don't think so. It does seem there is a slight worry about him in terms of his return date. What's that gone black? There we go. Anyway, thanks for that. Take care. Stay safe. Stay warm. Don't forget to check out these on mamabrand.com. And don't forget to get your mugs. We literally have a handful left. They have flown off the shelves, and thank you so much. Look how happy I look because I've got my one. They have flown off the shelves. If you want one, we'll put a link in the description of the video, the PayPal link and stuff and all that good stuff. But don't forget to check out these at mamabrand.com for latest news, reviews, and opinions. Don't forget also to check out Alloy Collectors. They have the 1965 metal shirt. That's now available to order, as well as I believe the new home shirt will be out as well, which is pretty much exactly the same as that, really, to be honest. Just a change of the badge and a few tweaks, but it's pretty much the same. But until next time, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Irons.